In this video, we're going to do an unboxing and an overview of the HYTE Y40 mid-tower case. This one in black and red, and this thing is beautiful. But don't take my word for it. Let's check out the unboxing real quick. So here she is again, the HYTE Y40 Panoramic tempered glass, 4-slot vertical graphics, cold floor cooling. Here we can see a little bit of what it looks like. Y40 S-tier aesthetic case. Coming along the side over here, just speaks about the specifications and compatibility, UPC serial number, all that good stuff down here. Along the back, it shows up a blown up view of the case. I love when they show this, pretty awesome. And then why we made this, a new build should feel new. I'll let you read all that on your own, but just wanted to show you the case real quick. Now let's go ahead and open it up. So you can see how it looks like at the very top, just in case there was anything crazy. So in this baggie, I'll start off with that first. We have their user's guide, which is kind of shy on words, more pictures. If anything, here they give you the contents of the case in different languages, and then they show you different things with very little text. But don't worry about this. In the upcoming video, I'm going to show you how to build inside of this case, so stay tuned for that. Very nice looking case so far. It does have and I'll take that off in a second, but that sounded kind of nice. Ooh, and the paint feels really nice. Awesome. Okay. This seems to be stuck down here. Maybe pulling it out, but we'll figure that out in a sec. Here we can see the panoramic view. We can see the front of the case and the side of the case. Nothing in the way. Kind of this, but not really. Then looks really nice. We can see down here there's 2 USB ports and a USB Type-C, along with a power button and a headphone and microphone jack. Then over here, I don't know if you can see it, but there is behind these lines a mesh filter so that all the air that gets sucked in gets trapped right over here. You just have to clean this every now and then. Then along the back here, we have a full-size home for your power supply, up to 224 millimeters in length, and it comes with a 120 millimeter fan along the back. Here we can see 7 half-height PCI-E slots and 4 full-height vertical expansion slots. And then over here for your I/O. And then over here, to take this panel off, just use your thumb, maybe right here, just pull it, and it slides right out. And then actually that's as much as it slides out. I'm holding it just in case I don't want to break the glass. Then I'll pull it out, and then I can take the rest of this off. Holding the side panel on is this little peg or nipple here that would slide right into these grooves here, locking the side panel in place. And then the bottom piece slides right in here between the outer case and the power supply shroud, or the base of the case. And this is glass as well. Then here we have something pretty awesome that we saw in the Y60. This is the PCIe card that sits in the very first PCIe slot that has the ribbon that comes down into the PCI slot here for a vertically mounted video card. And then again here, 4 full height PCIe expansion slots. That would be for either a 2, 3, or 4 slot card, even a 1 slot card over here. Now this will take up to a 422 millimeter in length graphics card and 94 millimeters in height. And we're going to see a lot more of that very soon, so stay tuned. Then down here, there is a fan blowing cool air up through the case. Then along the side over here, there is 2 openings so you can slide some cables in through the back of the motherboard tray. And then also right over here for the rear of the CPU socket. That way you can have a rear plate for liquid cooling or for air cooling as well. It is a very nice size hole. Then the big old H over here, up to a 280 millimeter radiator here. So 120, a 140, a 240, and a 280 millimeter radiator. And then the rear, we can fit up to a 120 millimeter radiator. Then coming along the back over here, the same way that we remove the side panel over here, remove that side panel here. And again, that paint feels really nice. It feels like automotive paint. I like it. And then flipping it around, here we can see that H that we saw on the other side of the panel, and then that mesh right up here, or that filter. Then coming along the rear over here, we have a tray so that we can fit 2 2.5-inch SSDs or mechanical drives. We can also take it out so that we can easily put it there, and then just as easily slide it back in and screw it back in. Then towards the bottom of the case, here we have twist tied in here the accessories box. We'll go over that in a second. I'll just move it over for now. And then we have the front panel cables. First cable is HD audio. Then we have the front panel cable for the power button and the HD activity light. Then we have the USB 3.0 connection and the USB Type-C connection right here. And then for this 120 millimeter fan, we have this DC cable. Kind of surprised it's DC. I would think it would be PWM, but 3-pin DC. And mind you, even though it is DC, you can't control the speed of the fan through voltages if your motherboard supports that. And while it does come with a 120 millimeter fan, you can't swap it out for a 140 millimeter fan. Then over here where you would put the power supply, there are 2 long strips here, foam, so that it insulates it so it doesn't make too much noise when the fans rev up on the power supply. Then along the bottom of the case, we can see it has 1, 2, 3, 4 rubber pads to keep it from sliding around on the top of your desk. And then 2 huge filters that we can slide out, wash, dry, and then slide back in. And these feet are almost an inch tall, so it gives it some good room. Along the top of the case, you can fit up to a 360 millimeter radiator, but you can do a 120 or a 240 as well. And if you don't want a radiator up here, you can actually fill it up with 3 120 millimeter fans. Now, the same goes for the side of the case. If you don't want to put up to a 200 millimeter radiator, you can put 2 120s or 2 140 millimeter fans, blowing cool air into the case. That way it passes all through over here, and then potentially getting sucked out from the ceiling and from the rear over here, since there will be another fan along the bottom blowing air up. This will take a CPU cooler height up to 183 millimeters, and she will house motherboards from ITX, Micro ATX, and ATX as well. As I mentioned earlier, you can fit back here 2 2.5-inch drives. Now, if you only want one drive, you can slap back here a 3.5-inch drive, but then that would be your only drive. So it makes a little more sense to have 2 2.5-inch drives. Then inside the accessory box, we'll find here 20 motherboard screws, 5 power supply screws. That's nice, they gave you an extra one just in case. 5 screws for the hard drive or SSDs. Kind of odd they didn't include one for every single hole on an SSD or a hard drive, but that's a different story. But these 18 pieces are also for the SSD, not just the motherboard. Now, since the front panel only has one port for audio, they include this so that you can plug this into that one port, and then here you have one for your microphone and one for your headphone. That's pretty nice. And then last but not least, one of my favorite accessories. First off, they include 5 zip ties of the little thin ones. Then this is my favorite for standoffs, a standoff screw bit. That way you just put this on a screw and then twist it. That way, an easy way for you to remove standoffs, rather than using needle nose pliers. So right now, just doing the unboxing, I really like the way the case feels. I love the way the paint feels. Feels like automotive paint. But the case itself weighs 19 pounds. It's made from ABS plastic, steel, and tempered glass. It kind of feels like the tempered glass part might be the heaviest part. The rear panel feels beautiful out here, but I think that's because of the automotive finish. This is all plastic. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but again, this is all plastic, which helps make it a little bit lighter as well. This portion here is steel. And then when we get to the base of the case over here is plastic as well. And it's a textured plastic, not totally smooth plastic. Back here, the motherboard tray is steel. All of this, of course, helping the case be a little bit lighter and be a little bit more affordable. The HYTE Y40 is a beautiful case. She comes in at 17.3 inches long, 9.6 inches wide, 18.6 inches tall as well. A nice size case, not too big, not too small. It can take an ATX motherboard. Be nice if it could take an eATX, but then the case, of course, would be a little bit bigger. Unfortunately, it's not completely steel or aluminum. It is a lot of ABS plastic, but it still looks good, and I could hope that it cools as well as it looks, but stay tuned for that. Now, with that, if the video is ready, you'll find that video right up here. And if it's not ready, in the meantime, you'll see the HYTE Y60 build. But I got you covered no matter what. This is Iggy with ThisBytesForYou out. See you guys.